What's your question?
My question is the things that you guys gave to see. Did they all make sense to you? Did they all?
No, we was just wilding. We was just
that you believe in.
We was wilding. We was asking random questions.
Like what? Like which one stood out to you?
So, well, for me, because you asked me.
Yeah, which one stood out to
you?
you?
The first thing that comes to mind is like, why would you want to never let me express myself and pick every outfit, not have certain limitations of like, this is uncomfortable, this is appropriate, but to be like, I will take your self-expression away through how you present yourself. And there's I
could answer it real quick for you. The reason why is because what you said in the beginning of the podcast, you said that you can channel things and you like to live inside your head. So a human...
I didn't say that I like to live inside my head.
Well, I'm saying that. If you're challenging things, you said that you conjure up, what did you say? Say it again. About how you think about things?
No, that's not how I think. I'm saying
towards her.
To pull information towards me at times, yeah.
And what was the word you used? You said that you, it's like make-believe things, pretty much is what you said.
It feels like using your imagination.
Imagination.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got you. But it feels like using, but how is it different from using your imagination?
So I can't use my imagination to tell me something that's going to happen tomorrow. I can't use my actual imagination. It's not going to be right. Like if I pull information and then wait a week and that information turns out to be correct, that's not.
Got it. So here's what I'm saying. Men, we like to live in reality. We like to live in the real world. Usually women like things coddled and they like to live in la la land. Mm-hmm. So since a woman likes to live in la la land, we can't trust her to make her own good decisions. In most cases, we can't trust her. Now, she could earn my trust with that. And then it's like, okay, I'm still going to be looking, but we truly can't trust a woman. A man is there to protect a woman, not trust a woman. You're there to trust me because I have to protect you. So the dynamic in a relationship is much different. So this is why when a man says, yeah, baby girl, this is my guidelines and my boundaries, don't dress this. Actually, like he said, whatever I tell you to wear, that's what you wear. Anything else, I don't want you wearing. And it's not controlling or toxic, is that we can't trust you to make good logical decisions because you like to live in your mind. Generally speaking, women do, right?
Right.
So you're a little bit contradicting yourself because logic and living in your mind are somewhat of the same.
Explain. To me, that doesn't make sense.
Logic is a masculine thing, and so is using your mind. When women are falling into getting in their head too much, overthinking things, thinking things too much, and getting caught up in their heads, they're actually being in their masculine. They're using logic. Logic is a masculine principle. The complement to that women embody is their intuition and using their heart. And so I wouldn't say that women like to be in their heads. When women are in their heads too much, it does them bad.
Well, you just said that a woman being in their head, meaning that they're thinking about things a lot. You said that that's a masculine thing, right?
To use too much logic, yeah, because logic is a masculine. But just because you do not use logic does not mean that you can be trusted. Intuition.
So let's differentiate it real quick before you move on. I don't think that if you're you said overthinking too. You said women like to be in their heads and they're thinking about things and overthinking things, and you are trying to say that is the woman being logical. I don't look at logical that way. That isn't logical to me. I'll explain what logical is. So logical is you get a logical standpoint when you have the ability to view the world outside of yourself. So that's not in your head, that's thinking outside of yourself. When you are viewing the world from a subjective standpoint, you're less logical because you're just like, oh, you can't really critically think. Everything is a subjectiveness. Everything is about your feelings. You're prioritizing you and you and you, or your experiences. A logical man has the ability to look beyond just his own experiences, but other people's experiences and other people's circumstances and his own. So it's the ability to differentiate things and also find similarities to things as well. And if you can do that, then you'll have the ability to compare and contrast. And to take it a step further, that's called critically thinking. And when you can critically think, that's when you are truly using logic, because you're not just looking at one side of the story, you're looking at the other side of the story. The reason why women tend to not really think logical, because they lead with feelings first. So let's say it when a shooting happens, let's just speak about BLM, right? Black community be in their feelings like, oh, stop, people, the cops is, killing people, stuff like that. This stuff is going on. The cops stop shooting people. All of these things. Well, they're not thinking about the other side of it. Well, that cop that's protecting the city, he got a family to go home to. That cop that's protecting the city, not only does he have a family to go to, you're not thinking about, well, that person wasn't complying. Right? Well, if this person isn't complying, this needs to go home. And maybe he dealt with some other things, other situations where, He in a neighborhood that's, hey, I don't know what's going to happen. So you got to look at both parties. And it's not to say the cop is good and or bad, and the person that's claiming to be a victim that was shot by a cop or something like that is claiming to be good or bad. But it's like, well, let's look at it logically. Let's look at the victim's standpoint, and let's look at the cop standpoint. What the black community do, they just look at the victimhood, police brutality, all of this stuff. It's like, I don't really know about that there, buddy. This man is doing his job, what you're not doing. Why didn't you send your kids, put your kids in the police force? Why aren't your cousins in the police force? Only the white people are going into the police force. Oh, y'all want to be rappers. Y'all want to be dancers. You want to twerk on a pole. You want to become a stripper. You want to sell weed. You could have took a different path. So now you living in the city and it's being ran by most of white people. So it's like, dang, but they have this victim mindset. So this is what I'm saying. Critically thinking and logic is to look at the entire spectrum of things. So then you're not using feelings.
Mm-hmm. So feelings is not the same as, like, feelings as in emotions is not the same as intuition. And the example that you used for where logic is better makes sense, because when masculine is protecting, doing, achieving, stuff like that, problem solving, of course you use like logic to the scenario that you gave. You know what I mean? Like something.
It was an extreme scenario, but it's something that everyone can know, and because we've seen it on TV and we've seen the differences of opinions that the Democrats have, that the Republicans have, that the blacks have, that the whites have.
Intuition also has its value. In a feminine role, women are most comfortable, I'm telling you, by operating from their heart and operating from intuition.
That's where you're wrong. But that's where you're wrong, because intuition how does a woman do her role without living out of her heart and following her intuition? How do you care for children with logic?
No, you getting me wrong. Yeah. We're not trying to make women be like men.
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is...
so that's not, you say, how do we? I don't want to. So
no, I'm not saying you should.
She's saying that. She said women should be. She's saying that women should be able to rely on their intuition and their heart. And I'm saying, what I'm trying to say is, your heart can be deceiving. You know what I mean? Like, there's women who
that's
love.
When they get in their head too much. I'm telling you.
But that comes from the heart. That's come from your emotions, your feelings. Your feelings aren't always true. Your heart is deceiving. There's women, for example, there's women out there that date guys that abuse them, but their heart tells them, I love him. But logic says, get the out of there, because he's whooping your ass. That's the difference. So your heart and your intuition, your feelings aren't facts. They can lead you in the wrong direction. That's when you got to use logic. So you can't always rely on intuition and your heart, because for 9 times out of 10, they're not true. They're going to lead you down the wrong path.
But go ahead. Yeah, what you got?
Emotions and intuition are different. A woman in, like, say, an abusive situation like that, totally a thing. But her heart will be telling her something is wrong, you're not happy. you're doing this for some reason, like it will cause her conflict, and then her emotions, like she may have fear, she may have, well, I get in my head and I don't want him to feel bad and I care about him, but you're really confusing the two. And I'm not saying men should be like women and women should be like men, but I see on your show he talks a lot about one being more important than the other, and my point is that they're complementary. So like
What's
man
being more
is
important
not
than the other?
Logic over women's feelings and intuition.
well, like no, like in a relationship, a man brings logic, a woman brings intuition. One is not more important. They complement each other.
Not when the other is leading you in the wrong direction the majority of the time.
They do have to be balanced out, but no.
When you use your because our feelings can be deceiving. Like I can say, because women always say, oh, I don't like the way he said it, even though it's the truth. Like for example, if I say 1 + 1 = 2, you know what I mean, but you feel like I said it rudely. What it doesn't like who gives, like it's the fact.
I don't give a
saying so logic is basically using evidence that in your face to be able to make a decision, whereas feelings, you're just relying on what you feel and you're ignoring
not
the evidence.
Emotions are not the same.
Yeah,
Intuition isn't even real. You know what I mean?
Intuition is
this.
Also,
Intuition is a feeling also. It's the same. It's the same shit.
It's a little bit different. Yes. So let me break it down so we could have a clear, concise conversation. Men are more intuitive than women. Because in order to have intuition, I'll repeat, in order to have intuition, you need experience, right? True experience takes good intuition, and I'll tell you why. Here's the definition of intuition. No, wrong. Here's the definition of intuition. The ability to understand something immediately without the need for conscious reasoning. So that means that you understand something immediately without the need for conscious reasoning. The only way to get that from a standpoint of being intuitive, where you're right or you're making the right decision, because you can make a lot of wrong decisions trying to be intuitive, but if we're speaking about making the right decision, you get that from learning from your mistakes. You get that from experiencing things, and you also get that from wisdom, meaning that learning when you don't even have to experience something. We all know the whole saying, like a wise man is someone that learns from other people's mistakes, and the other person, a smart man, is someone that learns from his own mistakes, right? So to be wise is, if a man that has wisdom or a woman that has wisdom, well, you're learning from other people's mistakes. So when a situation arises and it happens, you can make But that's not what intuition is. Let me ask you a question. That is intuition. That's the definition of it. I'm literally reading it. No, you're the one that prefaced from experience. It doesn't say anything about experience. It just means, bam, you know. So an example of intuition go ahead, yeah,
is when you know somebody is looking at you. You don't need to learn that. You don't have a logical explanation. There is nothing logical about knowing that you can explain
when someone is looking at you,
and someone could be sitting behind me and I turn around because you feel it. Those are the kinds of feelings that I'm talking about, not your emotions, not I'm jealous, I'm angry, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's something a little bit different, because when you can feel someone looking at you, we have 5 senses: seeing, touching, hearing, tasting, and smelling, right? We got those 5 senses. So feeling, right, just of touching something. So when a wind blows, we feel the wind blows. So when we think that, oh, is someone looking at me, and we turn around, we probably used our ears to hear something over here. We're using our 5 senses, and then it's like, I kind of feel something is over there, and you look back and the nigga is looking at you. Or not only that, when women know that someone is looking at them, because you walking in the Walmart with them tight pants on, which you shouldn't be walking in, and you walking past niggas, and you know what niggas gonna be looking at is them buns. So that's why y'all think that y'all intuitive, but y'all not intuitive. You know what you're doing. Yeah, you goddamn know what you're doing.
You're doing something that causes the attention that you're getting.
So you've never just been like sitting, or maybe you're on like a bus, and you're just on your phone, and you stop and you're looking out the window, and then you're like,
no, but I mean, if I feel somebody's looking at me because I know what I'm doing to cause the attention that I'm bringing towards me.
So it never happens when you don't feel that way?
What happened?
So you never felt like someone was looking at you. I'm not talking.
I have, but it's because the reason
random almost.
No, because the reason why I can feel somebody looking at me is because I know I'm purposely doing something to cause attention, so I could tell. Okay, if I walked in here with my shirt off,
or even if you loud.
Right.
You
Or
on the phone, you loud, like, oh, someone.
But I'm not talking
if I'm
about
loud,
that.
if I'm working with my shirt, if I wear a lot of
Explain
jewelry.
what you're talking about.
When you have no way, like you're telling me, and maybe the women can answer too. You don't have a way to hear it. You don't have a way to see it, and you ain't doing anything
You
weird.
can feel it.
You can just feel it. You will it almost feels random. You just turn and look out to something out of your vision, out of your hearing.
You're just assuming. You thought it, and you assume, and then you check.
But no, what I'm saying, subconsciously, you're still using your 5 senses.
Yeah,
so
go
you
ahead.
are still sensing it, right? Like, we absorb so much stuff. This is why I don't believe in astrology. We could have that debate too, because we naturally absorb things from our 5 senses, and we absorb things that we even eat. Protein has more importance than any star and moon. So when we talk about astrology, it's like, freak the stars and the moon. If you don't have protein in your diet, you're done. You're gonna lose muscle mass. Well, I'm just going off on a tangent right now. But what I'm saying is that just debunking the notion of the intuitions of, like, you're saying that it's feelings based.
So you're using.
I'm saying that
protein being
no
important to debunk intuition?
No, I was just talking about astrology right there. So you're saying that intuitions is just all feelings based. I'm saying that, and based off the definition that I've read, and which I've already understood too, to be intuitive, right? You have to
know something.
No, it comes from being like
How do we
experiences.
Can I say something about
you
that?
you learn that trait, and you get that skill and that ability and that art by learning from experience, and also not from your own
definition-
experience. You could learn it from other people's experience too.
That's not what the
that it
definition says
The definition
at all.
The definition doesn't say anything about feelings. The definition says the ability to understand something immediately. Without the need for conscious reasoning. So you explain.
Just get a feeling and you know. That's
Okay,
what
so
I'm
how
saying.
would you just get that feeling and know?
It's a conscious feeling. Like you say you sensing somebody, you feeling somebody looking at you. That's a conscious feeling.
The only way you getting that is from your 5 senses and what you've already experienced. That's what I'm saying. The only way you're getting that. So we got to peel back the layer. How can you know?
On the topic of it.
How can you have reasoning on something that you've never?
That's the thing.
Got it. So what I'm
There's
saying
no
is
logic.
No. Logic is this. Logic is, I mean, we could even speak about
intuition. There's no logic to intuition. It does not have to go through a logical process.
And I'm saying that I know that it doesn't have to go through a logical process. I'm not talking about a logical process. I'm just saying that the only way it can happen, well, one, I believe in God and I believe in the Spirit of the Lord. So we're speaking from a religious standpoint with I had multiple religious experiences. That's something different. I wouldn't call that me being intuitive. I would call that the Spirit of the Lord fall on me. That's what I would call that. But if we're talking about intuitive, that has nothing to do with spirits or holiness or anything like that. That's just literally pretty much having an understanding for something without a conscious reasoning. So I'm saying that in order to get a conscious reasoning about something, if we truly use our critically thinking skills, we are biological creatures and we have 5 senses, right? So we can get understandings about things with using our 5 senses subconsciously. You get what I'm saying? And also we experience things in our past and we're experiencing things at that moment. So I'm saying that experiences and our biology, our 5 senses, is what gives us the ability for people to be intuitive. Now, if you got another explanation, I'm open to it, but that's how I'm thinking about it.
I don't know. Let's just move on.
Yeah, we can move on from it.
Dragged.
So if you like that clip and you want to watch more, click right here. But if you want to watch the full episode, click right here.